Thanks for joining me for Kanuka home practice today. The next 30 minutes or so is going to be focused on a slow flow, exploring twists. So we don't need any props today. I won't be practicing with any, but if you'd like to bring anything that makes you comfortable, feel free to do that. Hello, we're going to begin our class today in a comfortable seat, taking a few moments to connect with the breath before we begin some movement. So take your time to adjust your legs, make sure you're as comfortable as you can be. Once you've found that pose, I invite you to close down the eyes or soften the gaze and use the next few moments to arrive right here, right now. May like to begin by doing a light scan of the body, observing any sensations within. Maybe feelings of weight, temperature, areas that feel open or may need a little extra attention. Beginning to observe this without any judgments. As you become more familiar with what's happening within, allowing any other thoughts to drop away. And drawing awareness to the breath if the mind should wander. Beginning to find a pace of breath that you can carry throughout today's practice. Feel the breath expand the chest, the back body, and the belly with every inhale. As you exhale, allow the tailbone to settle down further and the shoulders to soften. And just a few more breaths like this. And when you're feeling a little bit more grounded, begin to arrive back onto your mat, slowly opening up the eyes. And we'll begin our focus on twists. So let's inhale a bit more length through the spine, lifting up through the crown of the head. And as you exhale, allow the hips to settle down onto the floor. You're going to inhale the arms up. Exhale, find these cactus arms, bending at the elbows and drawing the elbows back and behind. Inhale up. Exhale, back to cactus. Inhale up. Exhale to cactus. One more time. And then bring the hands to heart center in Anjali Mudra or prayer. Gonna find our first twist here, keeping the chin above the fingertips, turning over to the right. You'll notice that the twist may not go into your full range. That's okay, we're exploring our natural range of movement here. Exhale, back to center. Inhale, over to the left. Exhale, back to center. One more time, each side. We'll add a little bit more of a twist here, taking the left hand over to the opposite knee. You can bring the right hand behind, looking over to the right. And the gaze can come behind the shoulder, back to center. Taking the right hand to the opposite knee and the arm behind you, looking over to the left, shoulders draw down, and looking over the shoulder, continuing that spinal rotation up through the neck. Keeping the length tracking upwards as you spiral out. And back to center. Gonna find a few side bends here. I'm gonna come into a toe squat, but you can find any kneeling position or stay in your comfortable seat for some side bends. So, inhaling the left arm up and over. Finding some length through the side body from the hips up through the fingertips. Other side, inhaling up, exhaling over. And this is just distracting me from the intensity of the toe squat. One more side. And the last side. Moving into tabletop. So taking the hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Return to the breath here, coming into a few cat-cows. You can tuck the toes if you'd like. On the next inhale, dropping the belly down, arching the lower back and looking forward. Exhale, start to turn the tailbone down towards the heels, lifting the back body, chin tucks into the chest. Inhale, lowering the belly down, sternum faces forward, widening out the collarbones as the shoulders move away from the ears. Exhale, press through the palms, lift the belly button and chest away from the floor. A few more rounds of cat-cow at your own time. You may even like to close down the eyes so you can truly focus on how this movement feels. And as always, feel free to invite any free movement here that's calling to you, that may help you find more space along the back. And returning into your natural tabletop, finding a flat back here. You're going to explore more twists. Let's begin with the neck first. So looking over your shoulder to the right. Find a few breaths here. You might explore just the subtleties of tucking the chin in towards the throat or lifting up the chin. Just starting to find slight little movements here that feel as if you're lengthening the spine and beginning a rotation at the top. And return to center. Look down at the ground, reset the spine. Look over the opposite side of the shoulder. Taking some time here to find some gentle and subtle movements as we begin to open up some space. Back to center. You're going to take the hand to the ribs here. And from here, find a twist, looking over to the right. And again, we might not be coming into our full rotation here. We're just finding our more natural movement, lifting up the right elbow. Seeing if we can find a neutral neck, not too much strain. Back to center, looking down at the ground. Take the opposite hand to the ribs and open up, looking over towards the left. And back to center, coming into a fuller range. You can lift the right arm all the way up to the sky, opening up the entire right side, and then scoop the right hand underneath the body for thread the needle, laying down the right shoulder and the side of the face. You can bring more activity here by lifting up the left arm and pressing the arm onto the floor. That's activating your core here, bringing a little bit more activity and engagement. If you want to take something a little bit more passive, feel free to. And lowering the top hand down by the face, lifting up the torso, gently unwinding back down to center. Other side. So lifting up the left arm, opening up the underarm, opening up the entire side body, and then scooping that hand underneath the body, laying down the left shoulder and the side of the face here. You can press the arm that's onto the floor down towards the ground as you lift up the top hand. Evening out the hips here, and I'm being quite active. So if you wanted to do something a little bit more passive, you may kind of come into here and rest down on the floor. But by pressing down the arm, lifting up the chest, and raising the top hand, you can bring a little bit more engagement. And drop the top hand by the face, gently unwind the entire body, moving into these twists. Let's go into child's pose one time. Tucking the toes, knees come out wide. You can lay the body down onto the mat. Creeping those fingers a little bit more forward so we can get as much length as we can find it across the spine. Drawing the hips down towards the heels. Again, you can make this child's pose a little bit more active by lifting up the forearms away from the mat and pressing into the palms and fingers. A few breaths here. And when you're ready, moving into our first down dog. Lifting up the torso, tuck the toes, bring the hands a little bit closer, and lift up the hips. Generous bend in the knees can be quite nice to help you find that length in the spine first. Pressing through the palms, lifting the tops of the shoulders away from the floor. Maybe external rotation of the arms. And bringing any movements here, walking out your dog, swaying the hips, doing whatever little dance will help you find more space and your down dog shape. And as you start to settle into this pose, we can explore twists here. So grounding down through the left hand, take the right hand anywhere to the opposite leg, maybe your ankle or maybe even the top of the thigh, coming into a twist. Finding our balance here and returning to the breath. Return back to your down dog, reset. Take the left hand to the opposite leg, anywhere from your ankle up to your thigh. You might like to look underneath the underarm. Finding your balance, grounding down through the feet, and pressing that grounded right hand into the floor. Return to down dog. Begin to step forward, finding your forward fold. Modifying this fold to suit how your body feels today. Allowing the crown of the head to fall forward, sit bones to lift. You can take a bend in the knees here if you'd like. And working with their twists, you may like to explore swaying left and right. And then returning to center, ground down through the feet. Begin to roll up to our mountain pose. Inhaling the arms up to the top. Exhale them down your center line. And allow the palms to keep tracking down by the hips. Take a few breaths here in Tadasana. And a little bit less structured here, finding a few twists, swinging the arms left and right. You may like to take the feet a little bit wider than the hips and add a little bend to the knees as we rotate left and right, allowing the palms to tap the body. Maybe even looking over the shoulders as we twist. Something a little less structured can feel quite good. And returning back to center. Winding down those rotations. Gonna begin our flow today. Coming into chair, inhale the arms up. Exhale, drop the hips, allow the hands to swing back, and on the inhale, lift back up. Weights in the heels here. Bring the hands to heart center. Keeping the chin over the fingertips, twist over to the right. You can hook the left elbow onto the outside of the right knee. I'm drawing my left side of the hip back to keep the hip even. Exhale, forward fold. Step back with the right leg. Lower the knee. Inhale up for your low lunge. Exhale, bring the right hand down to the inside of the foot. Left arm up for revolved twist. And return the hands to frame the front foot. Going to open up to warrior two. So lift the back knee. Cartwheel the right arm behind, left hand forward. Warrior two. Finding triangle next. Straighten out the front leg. Reach with the front hand and tilt the body for triangle. Back of my palm is resting on the inside of my ankle. Reaching up with the right hand. Chest is opening up to the right side. And if you have a block or can touch the floor, feel free to use that as support as well. Transitioning into side angle. So you can come up into warrior two. With the bend in the front knee, drop the left elbow onto it and reach up with the right hand. Side angle. Few variations of side angle, so feel free to take whatever you're practicing with. Okay, we're going to transition now to the front of the mat. So I'm going to cartwheel the top hand behind, allow the hips to face forward, returning into a high crescent lunge. Taking the back knee forward, begin to step forward and give the knee a hug into the chest. Find your balance here, pressing into that big toe mound, little pinky toe, and heel. Option to stay here or open up into a revolved twist. So opening the right hand behind, and the gaze can come behind if you'd like. Revolved twist. I'm keeping that knee aiming towards the center. Little tug with the opposite hand. And step back to your high crescent lunge. And frame the foot. We can vinyasa here or come straight into your down dog. And remember, your vinyasa can be different than mine. Choose whatever flow works for you. And step forward into your forward fold. And roll on up. Mountain pose, Tadasana. Add a few side stretches here. Inhale the arms up. Lean over to the left. And opposite side. Return into your Tadasana. Let's do the other side. Inhale the arms up. Exhale into your chair. Inhale, raising the arms up and finding Anjali Mudra or prayer. Twisting over to the left this time. Plugging that right hip back in case it started to track forward. Exhale, forward fold. This time, left foot steps back and lower the knee, untuck the foot. Inhale up for your low lunge. Exhale down into your revolve twist. Left hand comes to the inside of the foot, reaching the right hand up into the air. And frame the front foot, coming up into our warrior two. So lift the back knee, And cartwheel the left hand behind, right hand forward for warrior two. Moving into triangle pose. Straighten out that front leg, reach forward and tilt down. Left arm up in the air as the right hand rests on a block, the floor, or the inside of your ankle. Gaze can come up. And we can transition into side angle, bending through that front ankle, front knee, and reaching up with the top hand. Working with any side angle variation. Track that top hand behind, turn the hips forward, high crescent lunge. We're gonna bring that back knee forward, stepping up, and giving that knee a hug into the chest. Option to stay here or open up for your revolve twist, taking the left hand behind as the right hand draws the knee towards center. Gaze can come towards the back hand if you'd like. And step back into your high crescent lunge. Draw down for vinyasa, or come straight into your down dog. So if you'd like to continue flowing, doing that sequence again, feel free to do that. If not, we'll start to wind down our sequence, coming into a forward fold. Rise on up to Tadasana, hailing the arms up, exhaling down. You're going to step back into goddess pose. Toes are pointing out, heels are wider than the hips, and find your squat. Bring the hands to the inside of the knees or at the top. You can drop the right shoulder down and the left shoulder down for these twists here. Taking a few passes or pausing where it feels good. Opening up the hips and finding a little rotation of the spine. And inhale up. Return back into the front of the mat. We'll lower down into tabletop. So we're going to find a little length in the side body since we've been twisting quite a bit. So extend the right knee behind and cross the knee behind. Coming into a little bit of a curtsy here. Drop the hips back, find a child's pose variation here. Few breaths, and we'll find the other side. And turning back into your tabletop. Extend the left foot behind, cross the knee behind, and draw the hips back for a child's pose with these knees in a twist. And rise back up to tabletop. Going to bring the legs out in front. Lower down onto the back, bring the knees onto the chest. Take any movements here that feel good on your back. Maybe circling the knees or rolling left and right, front and back. We'll go into our last set of twists. So tuck the right knee in, extend the left leg out. Bring the right hand out into a T and find your twist, drawing the knee across the body. For a little bit more intensity, you can pull the cat's tail by lifting that lower heel towards the bum and grabbing a hold of it behind the back. We're aiming to keep the back of the shoulders melting down onto the floor. And now's the time to start to Wind down your heart rate, slow down the breath. Begin to welcome a little bit more stillness into the body. And staying here for as long as you'd want, but we'll just do the other side now. So on doing the bind, if you've taken a hold of your tail, returning the knees back to center and shuffling the hips so that you're recentered on your mat. Extend the right leg out long, tucking the left knee into the body. Take the left arm out behind you and guide that knee across the body. If you liked that bind before, draw that heel towards the bum and take a hold of the top of the foot. Return to the breath here. And when you're ready, undoing the bind behind you, if you've taken it, return the knees back to center. Take any little movements here on the back. And we'll move into happy baby, drawing the knees into the underarms, lifting up the soles of the feet to the sky, grabbing a hold of any part of the leg that helps you draw the thighs down towards the ground. Aiming to flatten out the sacrum onto the floor. And you can take any other movements here that you'd like before sealing our practice today. If you'd like to move into your Shavasana, now is a great time to do that. Or if you're ready to close down your practice, then return to a comfortable seat and we'll end our practice today with a shared breath. So returning to the breath here, rooting the tailbone down towards the ground, lifting up the crown of the head with the inhale. Just taking a little moment of gratitude for making time for your practice today. We explored twist, so finding strength and flexibility no matter what direction we take. We're going to end our practice with one shared breath. So inhaling deeply through the nose, exhaling out the mouth. Thank you for allowing me to guide you through your practice today. Namaste.